My name's Katie Bullington, and I've been riding horses for 16 years and competing for 13. I grew up in Zionsville, Indiana, and that's a very dominantly horse community. We host a giant annual show called Traders Point Hunt Charity Horse Show, which is a AA rated show where we have people from all around the world come and compete. I myself have competed there a couple times and have placed decently well, considering the classes have about 25 plus people in them. I have owned one horse in my time. His name was Luke. I owned him for about 5 years and sold him right before I came to college. I bought him when he was 2 and I trained him up until he was 5, and then competed hardcore for 2 years on him. To train a horse, you basically get them used to the idea of having somebody ride them. So you'd start by just putting a saddle on and letting them run around in a ring with a saddle on. And then you slowly start adding the bridle, and then you start adding weight, so you'd like push on the saddle. And eventually, as soon as you get on top, you can start teaching them how the different clucks and kisses and squeezes mean different things. And then once they are old enough and their joints have matured, you can start taking them over jumps. If you start doing that at too young of an age, you're going to give them arthritis by the age of 9. It's a very much give and take process when it comes to control, because you need to trust your horse, but your horse also needs to know that you do know what you're doing and they should trust you. They have a bit in their mouth which gives us direct contact to their mouth, so if we pull back, they're going to slow down, if not stop. But if we put our hands forward, we're telling them, hey, it's okay, please move forward. And they will do what they're asked, because horses are animals that are begging to please their riders. Horses have very distinctive ways of telling you how they feel. If a horse pins their ears straight back so they're laying against their neck, do not touch them. They are angry and will probably try to bite your fingers. If a horse is happy, they'll bring their ears forward or at attention, and it's always very happy to see a horse that's happy. And when their ears are kind of just sideways and chilling, they're listening to their surroundings, and they're listening for danger, for cues of what they should be doing, or just trying to find their friends because they're probably calling for them somewhere. I decided to join the Ball State Equestrian team because I love horses and I love competing. My favorite thing about the equestrian team is the people. You meet such a variety of different riders and fans of horses that You always learn something new every day, whether it's at the barn or just having lunch with a fellow teammate. I grew up in Hunter Jumper, which is what's competing in intercollegiate. And Hunter is where you have like a nice slow pace and it's judged on the horse. Jumper is time and speed. And in Jumper you want the lowest time just like in golf. But if you knock a rail, that pretty much eliminates you. I am on the hunt seat team, which means I ride English, but there's also a Western team, and they do more of the competition and reining and the pattern, and we do the jumping. English is debatably easier because you get to move around a little bit. In Western, you have to be perfectly still and make it look like you're not even there. But in all honesty, riding is riding no matter what saddle you're in. When I get to the stables for my lesson, the first thing I have to do is find out what horse I'm assigned to. From then we go and get all their tack, including their bridle, their saddle, their girth, and if they have a martingale. And we get their grooming supplies. We then take the horse to the cross ties to get them ready. We start by taking the hand curry brush and doing a circular motion to get all the dirt off. Once that's complete, you take a hard brush to smooth it all out and get any remaining dirt. The soft brush is used on their face. And the hoof pick is used to get all the mud and other stuff out of their hooves. And then we go ahead and put on the saddle and tighten up the girth, then put on the bridle, and we're ready to ride. When we ride, we do flat work, which includes walk, trot, canter. Walk is a 4-beat gait where, just like you and me would walk. Trot's a 2-beat gait, and that's where you'll see the posting trot or the rising and the falling of the rider. Canter's a 3-beat gait where you see the horse's legs move on the same side of their body at the same time. And then we also practice over jumps, and when we practice over jumps, we're usually doing turns that we'll see later on in the competition. You usually start jumping over small X's just for a warm-up jump. Then you can move up to straight verticals or spreads, which is 2 poles, one behind another. And you can do those in any variation. For lessons, you usually will wear just a polo shirt or a t-shirt. Jeans are acceptable. Most of the team ride in breeches, and then half chaps and paddock boots. Some people prefer to ride in their show boots because it gives them a little more time to get the feel of them, especially if they're new, because they're very hard to break in. But lessons are a little bit laid back. In intercollegiate, there are 3 different jumping levels and then a couple other flat levels. There's open, intermediate, novice, advanced walk trot canter, beginner walk trot canter, advanced walk trot, and beginner walk trot. These are pretty much done by the range of riders. I personally compete in open fences and intermediate flat. Open fences is 2.6 to 2.9, and it's the most difficult of the classes that are awarded. And then an intermediate flat, that's the second highest flat class, and that's where you see your flat work or your walk trot canter. When you arrive at a competition, the first thing we're going to do with the Ball State Equestrian team is check on our horses and make sure they're happy and healthy. We travel usually 5 horses that'll also compete in the competition. Now for shows, we have a much greater attire. But in shows, we have our show boots, which are one-piece tall leather boots. Our breeches, which are skin-tight, beige colored pants. Then we have a hunt coat, which is the same as a blazer. And we have a show shirt with a collar that is a choker collar. And you always put your hair up into the helmet, that way there is no favoritism towards blondes or brunettes or anything because you can't really see it. Then when it comes time for the rider, you draw a number out of a hat or a bucket, depending what school it is, and they will tell you what horse is assigned to that number. You then have to go get on with no warm-up or anything and go do your course. Our coaches will give us a little bit of prep because they all know the horses. And so after we get prepped, we'll walk into the ring. And at this point, it's very good that you know your course because you'll get a little bit lost if you don't. And you will just ride your course out, which usually consists of about 6 to 8 jumps. In intercollegiate, it's rode as an equitation style, so it's judged on the rider. And those can take probably about 3 to 5 minutes per course. In a competition, the range of points depends on the place that you get. First place is 7, then it goes second place 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, all the way to 6th place. Horses have been a big part of my life ever since I was young. My dad rode horses in college, and all my friends at the time basically rode horses, and so I was very pro getting into lessons and learning more about the animal and the sport. It's just the biggest stress reliever you could ever have because once you get on, you know that horse is, for the most part, going to do what you want it to do. And that's a really good sense of control. We love people who love horses, and the equestrian team is just such a great thing to join because even if you're not the most experienced rider, you'll definitely learn and you'll definitely make friends for life.